The Switch one got Dark Souls 1 remastered. The game on the Switch one didn't run that great. I own it. I have it. It didn't run that great. I bought it for my girlfriend at the time because she was playing Dark Souls on my PC. And she really likes gaming on the Switch. So I was like, hey, I'll get you Dark Souls on the Switch. You know, but the game looks like shit on Switch. Of course, surprise, surprise. And it runs like shit on Switch. And guess what? Dark Souls Remastered wasn't even made by From. I bet you that if From had made the game would run even worse. Why is that? Well, let's take a look at Elden Ring on Nintendo Switch 2 and let's see how good it's running. I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. Because if you guys remember, Elden Ring didn't run good on PS4. It didn't run good on PS5. It didn't run good on Xbox Series S or X. And it didn't run good on PC. You think you could get like a 5090 or something and like a 9800X 3D CPU and it would destroy Elden Ring. But no, somehow FromSoftware finds a way. So let's take a look at the Gamescom demo here.
You will become Elden Lord. May you take the throne.
I have just got out of playing Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on the Switch 2. And I...
Tarnished Edition. Tarnished Edition. I mean, I know why it's called Tarnished. But it's like... Why? Right? You see like a regular person just like go into like the GameStop or something and they see right there Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. It's like, why is it tarnished? What is this? Like, what is this? It's not exactly the best, right? The most ideal name. It's like calling your product trash. But you know, maybe From was onto something when they did this. Maybe they were thinking like, oh well, you know, this is going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 and we can see how good the game runs there. Yeah, Tarnished Edition, that sounds perfect. That way people can't sue us. If they try to sue us, we'll go, look guys, we said it was tarnished. We said it was bad. We said it wasn't ideal. You knew what you were getting into.
I have some bad news for those of you hoping for good performance in handheld mode.
Never.
Because the performance is not good.
This is never a thing. You could go back to Kingsfield, the first FromSoftware game, and it's running on a PlayStation 1, and Kingsfield is running like shit in 1994 on a PlayStation 1. Bro. They later on got obviously they started making games on PlayStation 2 and their games ran like shit on PS2 too. Then they made Demon Souls on PS3 and Demon Souls ran like shit on PS3. Despite the PS3 being way more powerful than the PS1 and PS2, they still managed to get it to run like shit. They're like the Pokemon developers. They're like Game Freak.
The world is in dire need of repair.
So unfortunately, we weren't allowed to record any footage while we were playing on the Switch 2. But I'm going to talk through my experience with the handheld mode and just let you know how it handled on the Switch 2.
I wonder why they weren't allowed to record any footage. I wonder why. Why didn't the corporation let them record? What are they hiding?
And where the problems arose. Because the queue behind me is all for Hollow Knight Silksong. No one is actually playing Elden Ring 2 Tarnished Edition on the Switch yet.
I mean,
so we
yeah.
had to start from the very...
And to be fair, Hollow Knight Silksong has not come out. And Elden Ring's been out for like 3 years now. Right? It's not the same. I did want to point out though, I'm being harsh on FromSoftware and or whoever else is developing this. I think it's FromSoftware. I'm being harsh, but like I said, I'm a big From fan. I've been a fan since Demon Souls on PS3. I was one of the people that signed the Dark Souls petition. Literally, I signed the petition in 2012 to get Dark Souls on PC. I was there, Gandalf. I was there supporting FromSoftware. And I bought it. I pre-ordered the game on Steam. Like, bro, I love From, but you know, it's like, you know, you have a, you know, like anything else, like you have a kid or you have like a girlfriend or something. It's like if they're struggling with something, you want to help them out, you want to guide them, you want to you want them to do better, right? To get better, to overcome the issues that they have. And I've been waiting for a long time for From Software to overcome these issues. Now, to be fair, I will give credit where credit is due. Armored Core 6, the PC version of Armored Core 6, for the first time in all of history, the PC version of a From Software game. Actually, no, scratch that. Not the PC version, any version. A version of anything. Because other console versions have ran like crap too. But a game that From Software has made has actually ran really good, almost flawlessly on PC. And that's because like they were doing a big hiring spree. They were hiring people that are familiar with DirectX, you know, which is the development API that's used for PC. And they were doing a lot of that because they ran into a lot of issues with Elden Ring. They had no idea what they were doing with Elden Ring, the PC version, and any of the other versions. But with the PC version in particular, it was so bad that Valve, the creators of Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, Portal, Dota 2, and Steam, called them out and said these guys didn't know. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing with DirectX 12. And Valve went in and fixed Elden Ring to run on Steam Deck flawlessly without any of these other stutters themselves. And they made a comment. They're like, the guys who coded this, they have no idea what they're doing with DirectX 12. They're lost. So it's like, bro, you got called out by Valve, dude. Like, what the fuck? If you're enjoying this video and you like to see bigger and better content, the only thing you need to do is hit subscribe and like, and I'll take care of the rest. So they went in, they hired these, I guess, PC DirectX 12 engineers and made Armored Core 6. And Armored Core 6 is the best game they've made in terms of getting it running technically on PC. The console version has the same bullshit ass fucking problems that every freaking FromSoft game has had. The PC version was good. So I will give Elden Ring credit where credit's due. Unfortunately, Elden Ring Night Rain, I think it's Night Rain, right? Runs like shit. And a lot of people have been they've been thinking that it's because it's using the old engine. It's using the old Elden Ring engine, and it's just built on top of Elden Ring and not whatever new work they did with Armored Core 6. So hopefully whatever game they get out after, they got the, what is it, the vampire game they got, the Crimson Blood or the Blood whatever for Nintendo Switch 2. Whatever that weird PvPvE game they got going on, whatever that comes after that, we'll have a PC version probably. And hopefully it'll run well. And hopefully it'll run well on consoles too. And hopefully that vampire game or whatever the vampire, like Dust Bloods. Hopefully the Dust Bloods will run good too on Switch 2. But you know what, guys? Looking at Elden Ring 2 on Switch 2, I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Beginning, going through the menus, creating a character. I picked the warrior with the two swords. And then we entered into the tutorial area. Inside the church, the game ran fairly smoothly, but as soon as I exited out into the open area where the grafted Scion tutorial boss is, everything started to chug really badly. Spinning the camera around from left to right really showed the frame rate drops.
It's like the first boss.
Still, it was fine. The pixel count looked great. It actually looks really detailed and really good on the small Switch 2 screen. I gave the game a pause, went into the menus to see if there was a graphics or performance mode that I can choose from. There wasn't. It seemed to be just one standard mode with HDR switched on. So the whole game was in
silky
HDR.
Smooth 30 FPS.
Again, looks lovely. Lighting wise, it was just any type of camera movement. It began to chug. And this, If you played Elden Ring before, camera movement is very important. You're doing a lot of circling, you're doing a lot of dodging, and you want that high frame rate when you are attacking bosses. Coming up to the Grafted Scion itself, I was pretty much instantly killed because the button placement on the Switch 2 is slightly different to the PlayStation 5,
shit.
which I normally play it on. Obviously,
I fucking hate that, like Nintendo, and this has been a thing since forever. They reversed the circle and X button, or like the B and A button on an Xbox controller. They reverse it. So like you have to press the circle button to like say yes and confirm, and like you have to press the A button to like cancel. Like it's like, I'm sorry, the X button to cancel. And like if you look at this controller here, you know, like you have to press, this is the button to cancel. This is the button to say that yes, you want to actually like do whatever it is you're doing. And it's like, what? God dang it, Nintendo. What the fuck?
Button placement is always slightly different, but when you have a game like Elden Ring, which is complex enough already, trying to figure out what button did what on the Switch 2 was very confusing. I tried to stash one of my swords and dual wield it, two-hand it, but it took me about 3 minutes to work out what did what. I was, you know, going for my Estus flasks, which I didn't have yet.
The Estus.
Just got very confusing. I finally managed to sort it out though, and got killed by the Grafted Scion, and went into the early tutorial place in Limgrave. Now, the underground section of Limgrave starts off with that section where you can drop down into the tutorial area. I skipped that because I wanted to see how the game performed when you went up the lift and out into Limgrave.
Oh man, this is gonna be good right here. Because this is the open world part, and that's always
Making
punishing.
my way up that lift and then sitting by my first sight of grace was fine. It felt normal.
Really?
And I had no complaints there. But again, as soon as I opened up those double doors and entered into Limgrave, and you see the Erd tree in the background, it started to chug. Spinning the camera from left to right really showed how much the Switch 2 was struggling rendering that massive environment. From there, I ran up the hill to the church. I spoke to Carle, the merchant. Around this area, the performance wasn't too bad. Again, sneaking through the woods towards the site of grace, where you meet the Finger Maiden and get the ring to summon Torrent, was okay because there was lots of foliage and I was moving slowly through the field. The performance didn't feel as bad there, but jumping onto Torrent once I got him and running through the middle of that town that's right by that site of grace just felt so sluggish and jarring. And that was about as much of the game as we played in handheld mode because we had to move on to something else. But yeah, those of you looking forward to a smooth performing Elden Ring on handheld are going to be very disappointed.
Wow.
It may perform better in docked mode. Again, we didn't get to try it docked, so
I wouldn't be surprised if it still runs badly. It's like the whole going from PS2 to PS3 thing.
But for any more information on Elden Ring,
they just managed to use more power
make sure you stay
and make the game run still below 30 FPS. Like somehow they just managed to, like, whenever they get more power, they just gotta. It's like they wanna be below 30 FPS. It's like that's the goal. Yeah, man, I can't wait to see like how the game runs when it comes out. And people are gonna, of course, be going like they'll be saying, "Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be a patch and everything's gonna be fixed." And it's like, tell me, you sweet summer child, you sweet summer child. But yeah, by the way, Elden Ring is fantastic. It's a really great game. Just really well made, really good. I still think the best one is Dark Souls 1. But it's one of the, like, I think Elden Ring is like really just an incredible game. And it makes me curious to what they're going to make. Are they going to make an Elden Ring 2 after this? Or are they going to do something after the Duskbloods, I mean? Or are they going to do something else? I don't know. Very excited. And it's like, when is it going to come out, right? Because it's already, man, like, they haven't announced anything, right? So it's like Duskbloods comes out next year. So it's like, probably their next game is going to be probably 2027, which is like when the PS6 comes out. So it's like, man, it just takes so long for games to come out now. It really sucks.
Subscribe and like.